Hello, everybody. Mike Arnold here, co-founder, Path Trading Partners, along with Bob Iacino. Hope everybody survived the market turmoil today. What a day. Looking for a bounce tomorrow. And we're going to see, I'm talking about the broad markets right now, but if the broad markets bounces, Tesla will probably bounce. We're going to gauge things on this next reaction because we could be setting up for a major sell signal in the broad market, but this next move up will either invalidate it or confirm it. We do not know yet. Okay, we have to wait. So, and this is why we always come in prepared. Let's just jump, first off, let's just jump straight out to that weekly and look at this. I mean, I get messages. Why do you go, it's not going back to 720. It's not going, why do you bother with the weekly rotation zone? It's not going down to those levels. Well, we just touched 720 today. Bouncing right off that rotation zone. Now, we did have a snapback end of day 3:30 Eastern Time, 2:30 Central Time ramp. When we get these sell-off days, a lot of times we'll watch for those that start around 30 minutes before the stock closes. Just put that one in your bag. But this is now key. This low today is pretty key because if we get a close below that again, then I'm watching for the pullback to the bottom of the weekly rotation zone and the downside of the channel area. So just keep that in mind, although I am watching for a bounce shorter term. Oh boy, I love these levels. They work so well. Big gap down. By the way, I'll just show you what I did today. Initially, we got that gap down. Longer term people know. By the way, thanks for all the new Buy Me a Coffee and Patreon donations. I really do appreciate it. It does help, all these licenses and fees and everything do add up, and the few pennies I get a month, it's literally doesn't cover anything from the ads. So that just helps cover my costs. So, I provide this information for free, and it does just go help to offset the costs to keep it going. That's why I asked for that. So if you find value, please consider, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I don't need to go on anymore. There's not an ad for this. All right, just for newer people, gap down, we go from the prior day's close to the low, and then we're watching, especially for a close above the 62.5, but the first target area is 50 to 62.5. If it starts rallying, you can see, did not get there. You can ratchet this down all day long, but it was just a weak day. Just recapping that, especially with a large gap. That's what I watch for, and those levels are handy to trade around. Now, the first thing I did for price projections, because, we went down below the 747, opened just below that 730, 850 area, could not get any move. Really, you got this one minor close above it, then just sold back down, keeping it on that 730. I also used Friday's high. I had this right here when it did open after the first 5 minutes, and that just reinforced this 730 area. I did make note of this 726 area, and then I moved it down. Okay, we already knew where this line was, but that was the area on the 15-minute. Sorry if you can hear my dogs in the background when you got 5, a newer one being another rescue that was going to be put down, and we had to save him, and he's finally learning to play with the other dogs. So everything's going well in that department. It just gets noisy. Sorry about that. So this was the 15-minute pausing bar. And you can see how well, then we had that 726 to 727, then 2724, 10. You can see that those levels held nicely, getting to right in front of the 724.10 with divergence, then pretty much just moving sideways. This I consider just a sideways correction. Okay, remember burning off the oversold condition with that sideways correction, and you can see the 15-minute rotation zone catching up. So this is where we start watching, and it could not get to the other side, just trading here. So the key levels essentially that I marked off, let me move this out of the way. Key levels I marked off 731.50 area right above here, which this was intraday. So right here, watching to see if we could get above there on a closing basis, could not do it. Then we continued to sell off, moving to this low, this 10 a.m. Central Time low, which was another pausing bar on the 15-minute, giving me 719.98. So I was targeting 720 if we broke down from this support ledge. Here's the little level I was watching on the 15-minute. You can see it. Remember, focus on candle bodies. Let me zoom in here. Stop focusing on wicks and tails. I'm going to keep saying that because too many people have learned to focus on the wicks and the tails, the highs and the lows. But look, this nice candle body giving this really nice level right across there, getting the key close below it, then the sell off to that 720 area. 720 area had a little 5-minute divergence. Again, for newer people, divergence higher, high in the RSI. By the way, this is a 5-period RSI. My favorite RSI periods are the 2-period, the 3-period, and the 5-period for shorter term charts. Do get away from that 14-period. It's garbage. The 2, 3, 5 are the best on shorter term charts. Even on the daily charts, you'll find a lot of divergences. The overbought, oversold works a lot better. So lower low price action, higher low RSI. Nice little with the market rallying. You know, we start watching around that 30 minutes to go. And the market took off. And we got some Tesla rally with it. So that was really nice. Oops, sorry about that. I was trying to drag this. So this was not a double bottom, by the way. It did not qualify for my rules, but I was watching above this peak, especially with this little 3-bar rally. Then you could have done, if you needed the shorter term levels going into close, right there. And already we identified, you know, this 730 area, and that just reinforced it with the harmonics. So that was a great target into the close. So I don't have a real pausing bar yet. This is a great area to use a reverse box off of this. So reverse harmonics, reverse Gann box, whatever you want to call it. I just call it Gann because he did a lot with 8th levels. I never saw him use it the way I do. I just happen to call anything 8th levels Gann. I sort of came up with a lot of this stuff myself. If somebody else came up with it, I haven't found them, but they might have done it independently of me. So tomorrow, that's the magical question. Let's get out to some longer term charts first. And by longer term, I mean the 1 hour, since we had a pretty decent sell off. Remember, we have this gap left behind. So I'm going to put on the little short term retracement levels. I don't always do this for the videos. Oh, look at that. That is nice. All right, so really you can start watching on any move up 732.81. So 733 first level. That'll take it above the 37.5% harmonic and the projection and the 1 hour rotation zone right here. Then we have a cluster 734.58, 736.34 minor. Then next area I'd be watching is 738.50 to 740. That's a 50% retracement and that other 738.50 area, and this will converge with the top of the 1 hour rotation zone. That's my next target to the upside. Let's just see where we sit on that 4 hour. 4 hours not going to help us since it's sort of in no man's land. Above there, focus on today's high coming in at 742. And then, of course, it's the gap fill. But before you have the gap fill, you got I'm going to keep watching 747. Then really key area, 750 area, harmonic level. Right below it, 749 is this little prior support ledge. So 749 to 750 is my next target to the upside. To the downside, let me pull off some of these other levels since they are now no longer valid. I got the shorter term levels there. I'm going to now drag this since today's price action is over. Let's see which level. It's easier to just do this. I'm coming back now from the high of last week. Let me get this, snap this back on to today's price action. Next area of support, if we sell off, let's go back to that 15-minute. First little area of support I'd watch is about 726.25, right in here, 726, 726.25. We drop below it. I'll keep an eye on about 724. Then I will target today's lows, 718.67. Below that now, we've talked about this range. If you go back to levels before, we had 712 to 715, and we have 712.95. So I will probably be focused on about 712 to 712.95, so 712 to 713 as the major support area on a sell-off if we do go down there. And then we have the low 708.99 from September 13th. So that's the next key area. If we had more weakness below there, 702 and 695 are your levels. Now, I'm favoring a bounce tomorrow, but we're still going to let price action tell us what to do. Let me zoom in here. I scrunched it up too much. Let's double check that daily. Remember to scan through all your time frames, and that 709 level I just listed from the 13th of September low. That is the 50-period exponential. So do not ignore this. I also got a comment to go through again how I set up the moving averages and everything. Not going to do it today. I will probably get to that this week. If I don't in the next couple days, leave another comment and remind me. Just with everything going on, I also want to hit the cryptos. Maybe I'll do a quick end video that hit our key level I listed last night. So do not ignore that 709 level. And then, I mean, your major support coming in to is still coming down around, you know, this 690, 688, 690 area. I'm not expecting that tomorrow, but anything can happen. But I'm not expecting it tomorrow. Now it is technically below the daily rotation zone. I'm only taking that with a grain of salt right now because we're in this upward sloping channel. However, as I said when we first started this with the weekly, this next bounce is going to determine a lot, and if we sell off, I am still paying attention to the weekly rotation zone. Let me zoom in here. And that's sitting at the bottom of this channel, so on further weakness anytime during this week, if we break below today's low, I'm really going to be focusing on the bottom of the channel, just to reiterate. So nobody's shocked here. That's the key area. If we have broad market weakness and Tesla weakness, that's my longer term target. But let's see what happens tomorrow, especially if we bounce. Talk to everyone later. Bye for now.